Video, we are going to talk about the slider. It's actually very simple, but also very cool. There's two flavors of a slider. There's a range slider and a normal slider. We're going to be covering the normal slider, although technically both of them are range sliders because you have a start and a stop position. The difference is the normal one just goes from the start to stop, where the range has two little bubbles, and you can do a cross section or a subsection of this range right here. It gets a little bit more confusing. I've already got the Qt Quick controls imported. I'm going to flip over to Designer. I'm going to drop a grid in there. So let's go grid. Grab this grid. I want this to have at least 2 columns. And I'm going to resize this to suit our needs. I want that to be fairly thin by fairly long. And I'm just going to center that. Actually, whoops, there we go. Actually hit the fill parent on accident there. And let's go ahead and grab our slider. Here's what I was talking about. Here's the range slider, and it's got the little 2 dots. We want the normal slider. Technically, they're both range sliders because they go between a range, but we won't get into that argument. Let's make this 300, and we have a value, a from, and a to. And this is what I was talking about with the range. We're going from to. And this is a decimal, so it's going from 0 all the way to 1, so 0 to 100%. Step is how many numbers it jumps as we move this little handle, this little bubble here. Snap is going to determine how often this thing will snap to a value. It's kind of confusing. Let's add in a label here. And let's just real quickly bang this thing out. Spacing, I'm going to put 25 for spacing. I'm going to beef this label up super quick just so it stands out. And I'm going to say 25. And there we go. We're going to grab this guy, and we want its current value to be 0.00. There's a few different ways we can do this. First way, we can grab this label, and we can say we want this text to be slider value. It's now bound. Save run. Let's see what happens. Notice how it's this ginormous number. We could do math round. What we could also do is we could reset that, and we could go down to our buddy the connections pane, which has betrayed us in the past. We've seen how that will crash on us. And because I don't fully trust this, I'll flip over to the text editor, and I'm going to say on moved. And there's different ones we could have done. So we could have, let's just kind of see here, tons and tons of things. I'm just going to do on moved, and let's go ahead and turn this into a little bit of JavaScript here. We're going to say label.text equals math.round slider value times 100. Very easily could have done the same thing up in that little binding right here. Does not really matter which way you do it. Some people like to do it via binding. Some people like to do it via connection. Some people like to do it via inline, where it's actually up here, which we've typically done in the past. Just showing there's multiple ways we can do this. Save run. Let's see this in action. Let's talk about step real quick. You notice how this is going every single number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up. Grab our slider. We're going to go to step, and let's say this is going to go every 10th. Step size, save run. Notice how now it's going every 10th. If you have the step size and you're not seeing it actually step, you may need to actually rebuild your project, because sometimes Qt gets lazy and it doesn't want to rebuild it even though it should. It just, for whatever reason, thinks nothing's changed.